The Linguistics Wars, a pivotal and deeply personal schism in modern linguistic theory, began with a seemingly minor 1967 paper by John Ross and Paul Postal. As early students of Noam Chomsky, their squib was a direct challenge to his emerging framework, specifically questioning the role of a syntactic deep structure. They ignited the central debate: should semantic interpretation be derived from syntax, or should semantic representations be the fundamental engine that generates grammatical form? This marked the public start of a conflict that would fracture the field. The battle lines were quickly drawn on multiple fronts. James Macaulay's 1968 critique of Chomsky and Maurice Halley's The Sound Pattern of English argued that phonological rules were wrongly constrained by syntactic models, advocating instead for a semantics-first approach. This case study illustrated the widening rift, leading to the formal split between generative semantics and interpretive semantics. The former found its definitive voice in George Lakoff's influential 1971 paper on generative semantics, which proposed that abstract meaning structures could directly generate surface sentences, bypassing a purely syntactic deep structure altogether. Lakoff's work, presented at major conferences, drew sharp, personal rebuttals from Chomsky, highlighting the ideological and personal fractures at the heart of the dispute. The conflict reached a fever pitch at the 1972 Texas Conference on Linguistic Metatheory, which devolved into open confrontation. Sessions featuring generative semanticists like Postal and Ross against Chomsky's allies were marked by ad hominem attacks and unresolved debates, exemplifying the war's shift from academic discourse to personal vendetta. Paul Postal's 1972 monograph systematically dismantled a Chomsky-line theory, further solidifying the dissenting camp and encouraging an exodus of generative semanticists from MIT. The institutional consequences became undeniable at the 1975 Linguistic Society of America's Summer Institute, where plenary talks by Chomsky and Lakoff turned into a proxy war. Audience questions devolved into chaos, with accusations of dogmatism flying, underscoring the deep divisions within the professional community. Although generative semantics as a formal movement had largely collapsed by the late 1970s, Frederick Neumayer's 1980 historical analysis, The Linguistics Wars, provided the first comprehensive postmortem. His work detailed how the intense debates ultimately cemented Chomsky's theoretical dominance and influenced linguistics' lasting shift toward formalist paradigms, leaving the generative semantics rebellion as a defining, albeit defeated, chapter in the history of the discipline.